Good evening, my friends. Tonight I want to tell you about the greatest mystery in human life, and yet it is hidden in the most ordinary moment you will ever experience. This mystery is so close to you that you have been looking right through it your entire life. And once you see it, once you truly understand what I am about to reveal, you will never feel powerless again. You will never beg for anything again. You will never wait for permission from this world again. Close your eyes for just a moment. Right now, as you sit here, I want you to notice something. Notice the quality of your inner conversation. Not what you are thinking about, but how you are thinking. Are you rehearsing a conversation you hope to have? Are you replaying something that already happened? Are you planning, worrying, remembering, anticipating, whatever it is? I want you to see something extraordinary. That inner conversation, that silent voice running continuously in the background of your mind, is not merely commentary on your life. It is the loom upon which your entire reality is woven. Every word you speak to yourself in the privacy of your own mind is a thread, and those threads are creating the fabric of tomorrow. Now open your eyes. What I am about to share with you tonight will challenge everything you believe about how change happens. It will upset your ideas about time, about effort, about what is possible and what is not. But if you can receive it, if you can truly accept what I am telling you, you will walk out of here tonight holding the master key to your entire existence. Stay with me. 3 nights ago, after a lecture much like this one, a woman approached me. She was trembling, not from fear, but from something else. Exhaustion, perhaps. Desperation. She said to me, "Mr. Goddard, I have been visualizing for 9 months. Every single night, without fail, I see myself in the relationship I desire. I feel it. I make it vivid. But he has not returned. He has not called. He has not even looked in my direction. What am I doing wrong?" I looked at her carefully. Then I asked her a question that made her go silent. I said, "My friend, when you are not practicing, when you are simply living your day, washing dishes, walking to work, sitting alone in your apartment, what are you saying to yourself about him?" She stared at me, and in that silence, she heard the answer. She heard the endless loop that had been running beneath her visualizations. Why hasn't he called? Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe this will never work. Maybe I'm fooling myself. 9 months of beautiful nighttime scenes, and 23 hours a day of inner conversation that contradicted every single one of them. Do you see it? She was building a house at night and tearing it down all day long with her words. Not the words she spoke aloud, the words she spoke to herself. The inner conversation, that, my friends, is where your entire life is decided. Not in your actions, not in your affirmations, not even in your visualizations. In your inner conversation, the silent sentences that you repeat to yourself hundreds, perhaps thousands of times a day without even noticing. You think you are just talking to yourself, but you are not. You are instructing your subconscious mind. You are giving orders to the creative power within you, and that power, which is absolutely impartial, which knows no difference between truth and lie, between fact and fiction, takes every word you say inwardly and says, "Yes, if that is what you believe, then that is what you shall experience." Let me tell you something that will shake the very ground beneath your assumptions about manifestation. Your inner conversation is more powerful than any technique, any ritual, any practice you could ever perform. You can visualize for 1 hour a night, but if you spend 16 waking hours saying inwardly, "I don't have it. It's not working. I'm still alone. I'm still broke. Nothing ever changes for me," then I tell you with absolute certainty, you will continue to experience lack, not because visualization doesn't work, not because the law has failed, but because your inner conversation is louder, longer, and more persistent than your conscious practice. The law does not respond to your 1 hour of hope. It responds to your 23 hours of habitual inner speech. Think about the wealthiest person you know. Now think carefully. Do they spend their inner conversations obsessing about money? Do they constantly tell themselves, I hope I'll be okay. I hope I don't lose it all. I hope I have enough. Of course not. Their inner conversation is calm, natural, abundant. That's a wise investment. I'll handle that easily. Let me see which opportunity serves best. They do not speak from poverty. They speak from wealth. And because they speak from wealth inwardly, they remain wealthy outwardly. The same law governs every human being on this planet. Whatever you say to yourself, persistently and with feeling, must eventually manifest in your world. Now let me show you the mechanism. Most people think reality is something that happens to them from the outside. They believe their circumstances create their thoughts. I'm anxious because I don't have money. I'm sad because I'm alone. I'm stressed because my job is difficult. But this is backwards. Completely backwards. Your circumstances do not create your inner conversation. Your inner conversation creates your circumstances. Reality moves from within to without, never the other way. When you say inwardly, I never have enough money, you are not reporting a fact. You are creating an instruction. And your subconscious, which is the builder of your world, hears that instruction and says, very well, not enough money it is. Then it begins to arrange your world to match that inner statement. It closes doors. It creates delays. It orchestrates circumstances that confirm your inner word, not as punishment, as obedience. You are the operant power. You are the one speaking. And whatever you speak inwardly with conviction must be law. Externalize. This is why a man can have $10,000 in his bank account and feel broke, while another man has $100 and feels wealthy. The difference is not in the numbers. It is in the inner conversation. The first man says inwardly, this won't last. It's never enough. I'll lose it soon. The second man says, I am provided for. More is always coming. I am abundant. And within weeks, sometimes days, their outer worlds reflect their inner words. Now I want you to understand something critical. Your inner conversation is not random. It is a habit. For most people, it is a habit they have practiced for years, perhaps decades, without ever once examining it. They inherited these inner sentences from their parents, from their environment, from their past experiences, and they have been repeating them faithfully ever since, not knowing that every repetition is a command to create more of the same. But here is the beauty, the absolute liberating beauty of this principle. If inner conversation is a habit, then it can be changed, not through force, not through willpower, but through deliberate, conscious redirection. Let me give you a technique so simple that you might dismiss it. Do not dismiss it. This technique, practiced faithfully, will transform your entire life within 30 days. I call it the inner speech revision. Starting tonight, I want you to become aware of your inner conversation, not to judge it, not to fight it, simply to notice it throughout your day, every few hours. Pause and ask yourself, what have I been saying to myself for the last hour? You will be shocked at what you discover. You will hear complaint. You will hear fear. You will hear doubt. You will hear endless rehearsals of worst-case scenarios. And once you hear it, once you catch yourself speaking inwardly from lack, from fear, from limitation, I want you to stop immediately and revise the sentence. Not forcefully, gently, calmly. deliberately. If you catch yourself saying, I'll never have enough, stop and revise it to, I always have more than enough. If you catch yourself saying, they don't love me, revise it to, I am deeply loved. If you catch yourself saying, nothing ever works out for me, revise it to, everything always works in my favor. Do not worry if you do not believe the new sentence at first. You are not trying to believe it. You are training your inner speech to move in a new direction. Belief will follow. It always does. Because the more you speak a thing inwardly, the more real it becomes to you. Now here is where most people fail. They revise once or twice. Then they go right back to the old habitual conversation. They revise in the morning, then spend the rest of the day speaking from the old state. This will not work. You must revise constantly. Every time you catch the old inner sentence, revise it. Every single time. No exceptions. No excuse. This is not difficult. It simply requires vigilance. Within 3 days, you will notice something remarkable. The old sentences will begin to lose their grip. They will appear less frequently. And when they do appear, they will feel foreign, like someone else's voice rather than your own. Within 7 days, the new inner conversation will begin to feel natural. And within 30 days, if you have been faithful, your entire inner world will have shifted. And when your inner world shifts, the outer world must follow. It has no choice. It is law. Let me share with you the story of a man I will call David. David came to me 2 years ago. He was a talented architect, but he had been unemployed for 18 months. He had sent out hundreds of resumes. He had gone to dozens of interviews. Nothing. Every door closed. Every opportunity fell through. He was, as he said to me, cursed. I asked him what he said to himself throughout the day. He looked confused. What do you mean? He asked. I said, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first sentence you speak inwardly? He thought for a moment, then said, I guess I usually think, here we go again, another day of rejection. And throughout the day, I asked, what do you say when you see a job posting? I say, they probably won't even call me back. They never do. And when you go to bed at night, I say, another wasted day. Nothing ever changes. Do you see it? My friends, David's inner conversation was a perfect script for continued unemployment. Every sentence he spoke inwardly reinforced the state of lack, and the world, being nothing more than his consciousness pushed out, had no choice but to reflect that inner speech. I gave David one instruction. For 30 days, revise every negative inner sentence, the moment you catch it. Do not wait. Do not argue with yourself. Just revise. He did it. For the first week, he said it felt mechanical. He was revising dozens of times a day. But by the second week, something shifted. He noticed he was naturally speaking from confidence. By the third week, his entire inner tone had changed. He would wake up and think, today is full of possibility. He would see a job posting and think, this could be the one. He would go to bed thinking, everything is unfolding perfectly. On day 27, he received 3 job offers in the same week. 3. After 18 months of nothing. And here is what convinced me beyond all doubt that this was not coincidence. When he called to tell me the news, he was not surprised. He was calm. He said, of course this happened. I knew it would. You see, his inner conversation had changed so completely that success felt natural to him. His outer world was simply catching up to his inner state. Now I must tell you something that will either liberate you completely or disturb you deeply. You are always manifesting. Always. Every moment of every day. You are not sometimes manifesting and sometimes not. You are a manifesting being. That is what you are. And what you are manifesting at any given moment is determined entirely by the inner conversation you are having at that moment. If you are saying inwardly, I am unworthy, you are manifesting experiences that confirm unworthiness. If you are saying inwardly, I am powerful, you are manifesting experiences that confirm power. There is no gap between your inner word and your outer world. The gap you experience is only a gap in time. But even time itself is subject to the intensity of your inner conviction. A strong, persistent inner conversation can collapse time entirely and bring instant results. I have seen it happen. I have experienced it myself. So let me ask you directly, what are you saying to yourself right now about your life, about your desires, about your future? Are you saying, it's too hard, it's taking too long, maybe it won't work, maybe I'm not good enough? Or are you saying, it is done, it is mine, it is already unfolding, I am exactly where I need to be? The difference between these two inner conversations is the difference between manifestation and delay, between success and struggle, between peace and anxiety. You get to choose. Every single moment. You get to choose what you say inwardly. And whatever you choose, you will experience. Now, let me give you a practice for tonight. Before you sleep, I want you to review your day, but not in the way you usually do. Do not review what happened. Review what you said to yourself about what happened. Go through the day, hour by hour, and listen to your inner conversation. Did you speak from confidence or fear, from abundance or lack, from love or loneliness? And wherever you find a sentence that contradicts your desire, revise it, right there in your imagination. Hear yourself saying the opposite. If you said, I'll never get out of debt, hear yourself saying, I am financially free. If you said, they don't want me, hear yourself saying, I am deeply desired. Do this every night for 7 nights. By the 7th night, your inner conversation will have begun to shift permanently. And when your inner conversation shifts, your life must shift. It must. There is no other possibility. As I bring this evening to a close, I want to leave you with the deepest truth I know. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not at the mercy of fate, luck, timing, or any external force. You are the operant power in your own life. And the power you wield is not your actions, not your efforts, not your struggles. It is your inner conversation, the words you speak silently to yourself, moment by moment, day by day, are creating your tomorrow. If you change those words, you change your life, not someday, not eventually, immediately, because the world you see is not creating your thoughts. Your thoughts are creating the world you see. So speak wisely, speak from the end, speak as though your desire is already accomplished, and persist in that inner speech no matter what the outer world shows you. The outer world is always late. It is always showing you yesterday's inner conversation. But if you remain faithful to your new inner speech, the outer world will eventually catch up. It always does. It must. That is law. Tonight, commit to this practice. Become aware of your inner conversation. Revise every sentence that contradicts your desire. Speak inwardly from the wish fulfilled. Do this persistently, faithfully, lovingly. And I promise you, not as hope but as absolute law, your life will transform before your very eyes. Your inner word is your magic wand. Use it consciously. Use it deliberately. Use it to create the life you were born to live. Good evening. My friends, walk out of here knowing that the power has always been yours. It has always been your inner conversation. Change the conversation. Change the world. Until we meet again in consciousness, speak wisely and assume your greatness. The lessons you take from this teaching tonight are these. First, recognize that your inner conversation, the silent words you speak to yourself all day long, is the true creative force in your life, not your actions, not your circumstances, but your inner speech. Second, understand that this inner conversation is a habit, and like any habit, it can be changed through conscious awareness and deliberate revision. Third, practice the inner speech revision technique faithfully. Catch every negative or limiting inner sentence and immediately revise it to reflect your desired state. Do this constantly, without exception, for 30 days. Fourth, know that the outer world is always delayed. It is showing you the result of yesterday's inner conversation. So do not be discouraged by current circumstances. They are simply echoes of an old inner state. Fifth, persist in your new inner conversation regardless of what you see in the outer world. The outer must eventually conform to the inner. That is law. And finally, remember that you are not trying to convince yourself of anything. You are simply training your inner speech to move in a new direction. Belief follows speech. Reality follows belief. Change your inner conversation tonight, and you change your tomorrow. That is the promise. That is the law. That is your inheritance as a conscious, creative being. Use it well.